So how many people here have pets? And since many of us do have pets, we all love them and treat them all like our family. But sometimes we may even look like them. In the New York Times, there was a 2-year-old female pit bull who was found roaming the streets. She was found by a policeman. This wasn't any ordinary pit bull. Someone poured gasoline on her and lit her on fire. Although the policewoman poured buckets of water on her, she wasn't able to make it. They had to put her down because there were because burns covering her skin were 95% of it. So today I'm here to inform everyone about animal cruelty. I hope to inform and educate everybody about the different definitions of animal cruelty, the different kinds of animal abuse, and the consequences for those who commit. But to start off, I want to ask everybody here, what's the definition that you think that animal cruelty really is? Okay. There are many different ways to interpret what defines animal cruelty. The first definition is from the Legal Dictionary, and it's the crime of inflicting physical pain, suffering, or death on an animal, usually a tame one, beyond necessity for normal discipline. So basically hitting an animal that's not doing anything wrong. But you might say, come on Asia, what if I want to discipline my dog or cat? It's considered animal abuse when physical discipline is more than needed. For example, this is my teacup Yorkie, her name's Molly. She is 3 years old and she weighs only 4 pounds. I do get mad at her because she does her business in places where she shouldn't. So I do discipline her and I have to hit her. But I have to account for the fact that she's only 4 pounds. So if I backhand her with all my force, she's going to be flying and hit the wall and maybe break a rib. But I don't do that. Although there are different kinds of ways to discipline a pet. I put her in timeout when she does something bad. But as for the hitting, that would be considered animal cruelty. The next definition is from Definitions US Legal, and it says to torture an animal, deprive one of necessary sustenance, needlessly mutilate or kill, impound or confine an animal without supplying it with sufficient quantities of good, wholesome food and water. Since the first definition I provided already talked about unnecessary beatings, this definition I want you to focus on not supplying it with sufficient quantity of good, wholesome food and water. This basically means not giving your animal food or water when you're leaving it in a room for long periods of time. I don't mean just an hour or two or when you're just at school. This is going days or even weeks without giving them any food or water. The last definition provides information about California's law that regulates animal cruelty. From S. House Law, the Penal Code 597, it's intentionally maiming, which is disabling or disfiguring, mutilating, torturing, wounding a living animal, maliciously killing an animal, depriving an animal of necessary food, drink, shelter, and/or riding, driving, overworking, and otherwise using an animal when it's unfit for labor. Each state has their own law against animal cruelty, and the one I just read to everyone was California's. This definition is different from the previous two because of the word maiming, which is disabling or disfiguring, and also riding, driving, overworking, and using the animal when it's unfit for labor. So there are many different aspects of animal cruelty, such as blood sports, animals in entertainment, and animal hoarding. Blood sports consist of dog fights and chicken fights. For both dog and chicken fights, the animals are forced to fight till the death of the other. These animals don't pick fights on the streets just randomly. Their owners force them to do it. You can compare this to a boxing match, except for the fact that in boxing, they don't have to kill each other to win. But before or during a boxing match, people do gamble and they bet. This is the same for blood sports. People bet thousands of dollars just for one dog to kill the other or one chicken to kill the other one. This is animal cruelty because animals are severely hurt and many of them do die. Another aspect is animals in entertainment. So how many of us have been in a circus that had animals participating in it? Yeah, that's a lot. So most if not all people, you see them, they're joining it and they choose to do it, but animals are really forced to join. Many of the animals are taken from their natural habitat and they're trained to perform. according to organizations such as ASPCA and PETA, there have been many instances where trainers have been found physically abusing the animals who are intended to perform, and they're abusing them by whipping them and not giving them food or water. These animals don't get to socialize with other animals because, they're driving around from place to place performing every day. And this is animal cruelty because they're forcing the animals to do something they might not want to do, and there have been so many instances where the trainers have been abusing the animals. The last aspect is animal hoarding. So animal hoarding is when a person has too many pets in their care and they can't take care of them. They're not able to feed all of them on a daily basis, clean them, give them baths, and give them any attention whatsoever. Since there's so many in one person's care, they tend to get sick, starve, or sometimes even die. Anyone can be an animal hoarder. Just because you don't have 5, 6, or maybe even 15 cats or dogs, doesn't mean you can't feed one. If a person has 2 or 3 dogs, but they can only take care of one, they can be considered an animal hoarder because they're not, feeding the other 2 or giving them the care that they need. This is an aspect of animal cruelty because there are animals who are living in homes but not getting the necessary care that they need. Many animals go through physical abuse because of what some people do to them, but there are consequences for those who do get caught. So it seems as if the only ones who are getting hurt are the animals, but there are consequences to those who abuse them. According to an organization, Stray Pet Advocacy, in California, a person can be fined up to $20,000 or go to prison for 1 year on their first offense. But many states have different consequences for different situations. For example, Iowa has a fine of $5,000 and or imprisonment for 2 years for physical abuse of an animal. But they also have $5,000 fine or imprisonment for 2 years along with psychological treatment if they tortured an animal. So these are a few consequences for those who abuse animals. In conclusion, I hope everyone is aware of the many definitions of animal cruelty, the different ways that it can present itself, and the consequences. Since many of us have pets and we treat them just like family, I don't understand why someone would go ahead, pour gasoline on one of them, and set them on fire. Do you?